Hello, and welcome to this short video, which will walk you through how InnerOrbit phenomena and questions can be used to assess student growth and mastery on NGSS performance expectations, also referred to in this video as PEs. InnerOrbit is a site where you can find engaging, real-world phenomena, accompanied by scaffolded questions that you can use to build any type of assessment you need for your classroom. These assessments will provide you with detailed data so that you can adjust instruction, assess mastery of NGSS science standards, or prepare students for high-stakes district or state science assessments. Today, we will dig into how InnerOrbit phenomena can be used to assess NGSS performance expectation 5, LS2-1. This is a 5th grade elementary 5 life science LS performance expectation. Content related to this PE is often taught at the beginning of a unit about matter, energy, and interactions in ecosystems. Students who demonstrate understanding of this performance expectation will know specific DCI or disciplinary core idea content about the types of living things found in ecosystems and how they interact to result in flows of matter and cycling of energy. They will apply that knowledge by doing the SEP or science and engineering practice of developing and using models, and all of this will happen through the lens of the CCC or cross-cutting concept, describing systems in terms of their components and their interactions. Now that we're familiar with the performance expectation, let's take a look at how InnerOrbit phenomena can be used to assess understanding. Because our goal is to leverage phenomena to engage students in making sense of the world around them, rather than simply having them memorize facts or represent the knowledge they learned in class, it's best to select phenomena for assessments that have not been studied in class. This ensures that students have the opportunity to transfer the knowledge they learned to make sense of something new. But how can you, as the teacher, know that the phenomena you select on InnerOrbit will accurately assess the performance expectation? Let's use the phenomena, how do crabs and crazy ants affect cycles on Christmas Island, as an example. Students are introduced to a topic they probably know something about, the introduction of an invasive species to an ecosystem. But the example is weird and kind of exciting. A new species, the yellow crazy ant, has been introduced to Christmas Island, where great red crab migrations occur each year. The crazy ant can stun and kill a crab by shooting streams of poison at them, and then eating them where they land. Students will identify how this new species will affect other ecosystem interactions on the island by creating and using models. Ultimately, we want students to answer complex free response questions, such as the one seen here, and complete rigorous tasks to determine if they've mastered the performance expectation. Breaking down a sense-making question from this phenomena will help us get an even better understanding of how we can use this phenomena to assess the performance expectation. This question asks students to use the food web as a model to show how introducing a new species, like the yellow crazy ant, into an ecosystem can affect other living things. In this breakdown of the question prompt, we can clearly see how it requires students to engage in the DCI, SEP, and CCC dimensions of the NGSS performance expectation in order to make sense of the crabs and the crazy ants. But in reality, we know that many students might struggle to answer rigorous three-dimensional questions like this for a number of reasons. This is why InnerOrbit breaks down the 3 dimensions of the NGSS to create questions that scaffold the student journey towards making sense of complex phenomena. Let's take a closer look. One-dimensional questions, also called core content questions on the site, assess the DCI only. Again, this is the what scientists know dimension of the performance expectation. You can see here how question tagging in the teacher view on InnerOrbit provides information about what specific knowledge is being assessed by this question, based on its alignment to the performance expectation. When we take a closer look at the prompt, which asks students to identify why the red crabs are important to the Christmas Island ecosystem, we can see that students cannot answer correctly without accessing their knowledge about the different roles organisms play in ecosystems, to come to the conclusion that crabs cycle nutrients and energy back into the ecosystem due to their role as decomposers. Two-dimensional questions ask students to apply either the science practice or the cross-cutting concept in addition to their content knowledge to answer correctly. Here, the question adds a layer by now requiring students to reflect on how interactions between species within the ecosystem result in the flow of energy and cycling of matter through the environment. Finally, three-dimensional questions require the use of content, practices, and concepts, whether they're multiple choice or free response. Here, students are asked to analyze the models, addressing that SEP of developing and using models, to determine how different populations interact within a healthy ecosystem, hitting on that CCC of systems and system models, to finally confirm that Model A most accurately shows how the ecosystem must be structured in order for all organisms to get the energy and resources that they need to survive, finally addressing that DCI content knowledge. On InnerOrbit, you can find multiple phenomena for every NGSS performance expectation, and you can use the 3 question types we just discussed to build any type of assessment that you want. After you've assessed your students, you will have access to detailed 3-dimensional data so that you know where your students are excelling and where they might be struggling. Thank you so much for joining us for this detailed walkthrough about how InnerOrbit phenomena can be used to assess NGSS performance expectations. Please reach out if you have any additional questions for our team.